Okay, good evening. Today let us discuss about the muscles of pharynx. I have told you already the pharynx. Coming to the structure of the pharynx, pharynx is a musculofacial structure. That means it has got the muscles and the fascia. How are they arranged? How are the muscles are arranged and fascia is arranged? If you take the lumen is lined by the epithelium. Epithelium is supported by submucosal connective tissue, and beneath the submucosal connective tissue there is pharyngobasilar fascia, then whole of the muscles, the muscular layer of the pharynx. These are the muscular layer. The whole muscular layer is covered outside by buccopharyngeal fascia. So what are the things? This is mucosa. This is second layer is submucosa. Third are the muscles. Third is the pharyngobasilar fascia. Pharyngobasilar fascia. Outermost is buccopharyngeal fascia. This is the structure of the wall of the pharynx. Wall of pharynx. So at the introduction only I have told you the pharynx is made up of musculofacial structure. Musculofacial structure. This is the wall of the pharynx. Now coming to the muscles of the pharynx. The muscles of the pharynx are classified as the circular muscles and longitudinal group of muscle. Circular are constrictors and longitudinal are the other muscles. The circular group of muscles are constrictor muscles. So you call them as constrictors. The superior constrictor, middle constrictor and inferior constrictor. So there are three constrictor muscles: superior, middle and inferior constrictor. The longitudinal group of muscles include number 1 stylopharyngeus, from styloid process to pharynx. So we call stylopharyngeus. Then the salpingopharyngeus. Salpingo is from auditory tube to pharynx, wall of the pharynx. And the last one is palatopharyngeus. Okay, so now this is the wall of the pharynx. The wall of the pharynx, general structure, inside to outside, it is by mucosa, the submucosa, pharyngobasilar fascia, the muscular layer, and that means both these muscles are included. Outermost covering is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Classification of muscles of the pharynx. You can classify as the circular muscle group and longitudinal muscle group. Circular or otherwise constrictors. So superior constrictor, the middle constrictor and inferior constrictor muscles of the pharynx. So that is the thing. So around the tube, these constrictor muscles, they surround the pharyngeal wall, and as such they are inserted from, they are inserted to the pharyngeal fascia or pharyngeal raphe, which extends from base of the skull to the esophagus, wall of the esophagus. So this is pharyngeal raphe extending from base occiput, almost merges with the wall of the pharynx. So the common insertion of all these constrictors is pharyngeal raphe. Raphe is the extension of the fascia from base of the skull. So this is base of the skull to the esophagus, wall of the esophagus. Fine. So what I wanted to tell you is the insertion is common. So all these muscles, superior constrictor, middle constrictor, inferior constrictor, all are inserted into the pharyngeal raphe. The raphe extends from base of the skull to the esophagus. Now coming to the detail of the insertion and origin of all these muscles. So we will take up one by one: superior constrictor, middle constrictor and inferior constrictor. Before going into the details and the structures which pass between them, that's also very important thing. So before going into the detail of all these muscles, I will be telling you about the origin of each muscle. Okay, I'll take up each thing, okay, and individually, and then let us take whole diagram where the structures were. So the first one is the superior constrictor muscle. Insertion is common, I told you, to the pharyngeal raphe, but origin is different. So superior constrictor muscle has got multiple origin and it has got different parts. So before that drawing, so you need to draw the base of the skull. This is the base and this is the pterygoid plate, pterygoid hamulus, the hamulus, medial pterygoid plate, and this is base of the skull, and behind this is the styloid process. This is styloid process, okay, and beneath this medial pterygoid plate from the pterygoid hamulus, this is mandible. This is the teeth, okay, mandible. I am telling only superior constrictor, its origin, okay, because they have an extensive origin. If you know the origin insertion separately, then you can know what all the structures which pass. I have told you already, the pterygoid, the pharyngeal raphe extends from base of the skull to the esophagus lower down, so that is common insertion. Now the Superior constrictor muscle arises from the medial pterygoid plate and the pterygoid humulus, one portion. There is an extension of fascia from pterygoid plate onto the mandible. This you call it as the pterygomandibular raphe. Pterygomandibular raphe. Okay, so the second origin is from pterygomandibular raphe. So it has got number 1 from pterygoid humulus, so pterygopharyngeus portion, pterygomandibular raphe or buccopharyngeal portion, part of the mandible from behind the third molar tooth, the mandibular portion, and the partly from the tongue also. So this is origin of superior constrictor muscle. So number 1 from pterygoid plate and pterygoid humulus. So this portion you call it as pterygopharyngeus portion. Pterygopharyngeus part of superior constrictor. The next origin is from pterygomandibular raphe. So this part of the superior constrictor, you call it as the buccopharyngeus part, the second part. The third origin is from mandible, that is from the ramus of the mandible behind the third molar tooth. So this you call it as mandibular part. The last is from the tongue, so you call glossopharyngeus portion. So ultimately the origin of the superior constrictor is from the pterygoid plate and pterygoid humulus. Second is the pterygomandibular raphe. The third is mandible behind the portion and some portion behind the tongue. Some books says these are all the parts of the superior constrictor muscle. The muscle goes, the fibers runs behind and gets inserted into this and interdigitate with the middle constrictor muscle. So this is the superior constrictor. Fine. This is superior. So this is the base of the skull. And you have seen there is a gap between the base of the skull and upper margin of the superior constrictor muscle. This gap transmits the auditory tube, This transmits. So this is very important question. So this is auditory tube. Behind the auditory tube you find levator palate muscle. So in the gap between the base of the skull and upper margin of superior constrictor muscle, you do find the auditory tube. And levator palate muscle. Okay. Apart from that, you do find the ascending palatine artery, ascending palatine artery. This you call ascending palatine artery. So this is ascending. So between base of skull and superior constrictor muscle, you do find number 1, auditory tube, auditory tube, then the levator palate muscle, ascending palatine artery. Ascending palatine artery. So this is superior constrictor muscle. I will give you another time. I'll just think. So this is styloid process. This is base of the skull, base, then pterygoid plate, pterygoid humulus. These are bony. This is pharyngeal raphe. That is common insertion for all pharyngeal muscles. Pharyngeal raphe. Okay. The superior constrictor takes origin from pterygoid plate, pterygoid humulus. So you call pterygopharyngeus part, pterygomandibular raphe. So this you call it as pterygomandibular portion or buccopharyngeal portion. Then from mandible itself it takes origin. So this is mandibular portion, and posterior part of the tongue takes origin from posterior part of the tongue. So that you call glossopharyngeal portion. So 4 origin of superior constrictor and its insertion into the pharyngeal raphe, extending from base of the skull to the wall of the esophagus, and between the base of the skull and the superior border of superior constrictor muscle, you do find important structure: auditory tube, levator palate, and the ascending palatine artery. There is also pharyngeal branch of ascending pharyngeal artery. So at least if you remember, these are the 3 important structures. This is a 3 marks question. Name the structures passing between superior constrictor and the base of the skull. So this is about superior constrictor muscle. Now coming to the middle constrictor muscle. Middle constrictor muscle. Middle constrictor. Middle constrictor. Okay. The middle constrictor muscle. So below the, now we have traced from base of the skull, then pterygoid, raphe, mandible. Below the mandible, what do you get? The hyoid bone. So I will draw the mandible here. Mandible, then hyoid bone, that is lesser cornu, greater cornu of hyoid bone. Okay, there is styloid process here. Okay, and the middle constrictor, this is the pharyngeal raphe extending down. Okay, and this is the lower fibers of superior constrictor which interdigitate with the middle constrictor. So this is superior constrictor taking origin from mandible. This is hyoid bone. From styloid process to the hyoid bone, you do find stylohyoid ligament. Stylohyoid ligament. Okay, stylohyoid ligament. So, middle constrictor takes origin from the lower portion of stylohyoid ligament and lesser cornu of hyoid bone. One thing, lower portion of stylohyoid ligament and lesser cornu of hyoid bone, and another from superior border of greater cornu. Interdistate with superior constrictor muscle. Okay. So this is two portions of origin of middle constrictor. So this is number 1. This is number 2. Okay. Number 1 is from lower part of stylohyoid ligament. Stylohyoid ligament and lesser cornu of hyoid bone. So this portion where it takes origin from lower part of stylohyoid ligament, this portion, and lesser cornu. This is lesser cornu. This portion you call cryopharyngeus part. Cryopharyngeus. Lower part of hyoid bone. Lower part of the stylohyoid ligament and lesser cornu. So this portion, number 1, you call it as cryopharyngeus. Cryopharyngeus part. And number 2 is from greater cornu. You call it as chondropharyngeus. Superior constrictor has got 4 portions. Superior constrictor has got 4 portions, whereas the middle constrictor has 2 portions. So one is from stylohyoid ligament, and this arches over the inferior constrictor. So this is hyoid bone. From greater cornu and lesser cornu, and from stylohyoid ligament. So this is superior constrictor, this is mandible, and you do find a gap between each constrictor muscles. I will tell you in detail, name some of the structures going. This is superior constrictor muscle, lower border of superior constrictor. This is the gap between middle and superior constrictor. This is middle constrictor. Middle constrictor take origin from lower part of the stylohyoid ligament and lesser cornu of hyoid bone, and that you call cryopharyngeus portion, and the one which take origin from greater cornu is chondropharyngeus part. So now hyoid bone, I will just draw you the hyoid bone and show origin. So this is body of the hyoid bone, lesser cornu and greater cornu. Okay, so stylohyoid ligament. So this is number 1 and this is number 2 origin. Okay, hyoid bone. So this is middle constrictor muscle. Now